Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter-dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1, we're talking about the Kisatchie quarter from 2015. A coin that represents not just a national forest, but a piece of American pride, natural beauty, and potentially a fortune for those lucky enough to find the right example. Now, let's take a journey back to understand why this quarter is so special. The Kisatchie quarter was released in 2015 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a continuation of the popular state quarters series. This program ran from 2010 to 2021, celebrating national parks, forests, and historic sites from across the United States. For the state of Louisiana, the U.S. Mint chose Kisatchie National Forest, the only national forest in the state, and a place of remarkable biodiversity. The obverse of the coin carries the familiar face of George Washington, a design that has been a cornerstone of the quarter since 1932. But as always, it's the reverse design that truly makes this quarter stand out. The Kisatchie quarter features a breathtaking image of a wild turkey taking flight over the longleaf pine forest. The wings are fully spread, feathers carefully detailed, showing both strength and elegance. Below, the pine forest stretches across the horizon, capturing the essence of Louisiana's natural landscape. The inscriptions read Kisatchie, Louisiana, 2015, and the motto, E pluribus unum. The wild turkey isn't just a random choice. It's a symbol of wildlife conservation and the natural heritage that the Kisatchie National Forest protects. For Louisiana, this forest is a treasure, covering over 600,000 acres of land filled with unique plants, animals, and ecosystems. By featuring it on a quarter, the U.S. Mint paid tribute not only to the land, but also to the ongoing efforts to preserve America's natural wonders. Now, you might be wondering, if millions of these quarters were minted, why is this coin considered rare and valuable? That's the exciting part. While it's true that millions entered circulation, most of them have been used in everyday transactions. They've been scratched, dinged, worn down, and lost their original luster. Collectors, however, are always searching for pristine examples, those graded mint state, particularly at levels MS67, MS68, or higher. At these high grades, even the slightest imperfection can make a massive difference in value. And then come the minting errors, the real game changers. Coins like the Kisatchie quarter sometimes leave the mint with fascinating mistakes that instantly transform them into rare collectibles. Some known examples include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or shifted noticeably. Double dies, where parts of the image appear doubled, especially in the lettering, and die cracks, which appear like raised lines caused by stress in the minting equipment. Error coins are like fingerprints. Each one is unique. Collectors love them because they not only represent a mistake, but also a story. It's a reminder that even in a highly controlled minting process, surprises happen. And those surprises often carry huge value when found on coins like the Kisatchie quarter. Another reason this coin has gained popularity is its design appeal. It isn't just a coin for numismatists. It's a coin that hunters, nature lovers, conservationists, and people connected to Louisiana treasure as well. The wild turkey in flight is dramatic, lifelike, and memorable. It gives the coin a sense of movement and energy, something not every quarter can claim. Now, let's talk about how a collector, or even a casual coin enthusiast, might stumble across one of these treasures. Imagine sorting through a handful of change from the grocery store, or checking a coin jar that's been sitting in the back of a drawer for years. At first glance, you see what looks like an ordinary 2015 quarter. But then, you notice the shine. It looks uncirculated, almost flawless. Or maybe you notice something unusual in the design, a doubled letter, an off-center strike, or a strange raised line across the coin. Suddenly, your curiosity is piqued, and you realize this isn't just another quarter. It could be a valuable piece of modern coinage history. That thrill of discovery is what keeps collectors searching. Because sometimes, a coin that costs 25 cents at the register can end up being worth thousands. And in the case of the Kisatchie quarter, it can be worth even more than most people would believe. That it's important to remember that rarity and condition go hand in hand. A circulated Kisatchie quarter, the kind you'd find in everyday pocket change, will usually only be worth face value. But in gem uncirculated condition or with a recognized mint error, this coin becomes highly sought after. Auction houses and private collectors are always willing to pay a premium for top-quality examples, especially when they stand out as some of the best in existence. So, what does all this mean for you? It means the next time you come across a Kisatchie quarter from 2015, don't just assume it's pocket change. Look closely, study the details, and maybe even consider having it graded if it looks exceptional. You never know. You could be holding on to something extraordinary. And now comes the part you've been waiting for: the potential value of this fascinating quarter. In the right condition, with the right rarity or error, the Kisatchie quarter from 2015 has been known to sell for as much as $85,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A quarter minted less than a decade ago, celebrating the natural beauty of Louisiana, can be worth $85,000 in the right circumstances. So, collectors, keep your eyes open. Treasure can be found in the most unexpected places, even in the change you carry every day. Top 2, we're diving into one of the most fascinating pieces from the U.S. State Quarter program, the Ohio State Quarter, released in 2002. At first glance, it may just seem like another commemorative quarter, but for collectors, it has become a prized coin with incredible stories, rare varieties, and shocking values. So listen carefully, coin lovers, because this is one you'll definitely want to know about. The Ohio State Quarter was the 17th coin released in the popular 50 State Quarters series, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each coin in the program represented one of the 50 states, featuring a design that highlighted its unique history, culture, or achievements. For Ohio, the design celebrated one of its greatest contributions to human history, flight. But on the obverse side of the coin, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan and slightly modified for the series. But it's the reverse side that makes this coin so eye-catching. The Ohio quarter proudly shows an astronaut in a spacesuit standing next to a 1905 Wright Flyer, the iconic plane designed by the Wright brothers, who were Ohio natives. The coin also bears the inscription, "Birthplace of Aviation Pioneers," a phrase that sums up the state's claim to fame. Think about that for a moment. This single quarter links the very first powered flight with the later achievements of space travel, both of which have roots in Ohio. From the Wright brothers' plane in the early 1900s to astronauts like John Glenn and Neil Armstrong, Ohio's legacy in aviation is something to be proud of. The design captures that heritage in a way no other state quarter does, which already makes it stand out in the series. But of course, collectors don't just value coins for their designs. They look at rarity, condition, and errors. This is where the Ohio quarter becomes even more interesting. When the Ohio quarter was released in 2002, millions were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, not all of them came out perfect. Some were struck with errors that turned them into rare collectibles. Imagine holding a coin where the strike is off-center, leaving part of the design cut off, or one where a double die error makes the lettering or images appear doubled. These errors are the result of misalignments or mechanical issues at the mint, and they can dramatically increase a coin's value. Another fascinating type of error found on some Ohio quarters is a die clash, where parts of the obverse design accidentally transfer onto the reverse, creating ghost-like images. These kinds of mistakes are rare, but they turn an ordinary 25-cent piece into something truly special. Collectors will pay a premium for coins with such unusual characteristics, especially when they're preserved in high grades. Speaking of grades, let's talk about condition. Most Ohio quarters you'll find in circulation today have been used for years. They're scratched, worn, and tarnished, and as such, they usually only hold their face value. But in gem uncirculated condition, graded MS67, MS68, or higher, these coins become highly desirable. The difference between an MS65 and an MS68 may not look like much to the casual eye, but to collectors and auction houses, it can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth thousands. Now, what makes this coin even more exciting is its appeal beyond just coin collectors. Aviation enthusiasts, space fans, and Ohioans with a deep sense of pride in their state all see this quarter as more than just money. It's a tribute to innovation, courage, and progress. That broad appeal helps fuel demand, which in turn boosts the value of rare and high-grade examples. Let's imagine a real-world scenario for a moment. You're going through a box of old coins that's been sitting in your closet for years. Inside, you see a shiny quarter dated 2002. At first, you think nothing of it, but then you notice it's the Ohio design with the astronaut and the Wright Flyer. You take a closer look. The surfaces are nearly flawless, no scratches, no wear, brilliant luster. Or perhaps you see something odd, like the lettering appearing doubled or the strike slightly off-center. Suddenly, what you thought was just another coin turns out to be something potentially worth a life-changing amount of money. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's a hobby filled with surprises, mysteries, and discoveries, and that's why we love talking about coins like the Ohio State Quarter. It's not just about the metal in your hand. It's about the history it represents, the errors that make it unique, and the thrill of knowing you could be holding a small piece of treasure. For collectors, every coin tells a story. The Ohio Quarter tells the story of human flight, from the fragile wings of the Wright Flyer to the vast frontier of space. And for the lucky few who have the right version in pristine condition or with a valuable error, that story is worth far more than 25 cents. Oh, here's the part you've been waiting for. The value. While most Ohio State quarters will only ever be worth face value, the rarest examples, in the finest conditions or with exceptional errors, have shocked collectors at auction. One such coin reached a price as high as $82,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple state quarter from 2002, celebrating Ohio's legacy of aviation, can be worth $82,000 under the right circumstances. So the next time you come across an Ohio quarter, don't just toss it back into your change jar. Take a good look. You never know what you might have. Top 3, we are going to talk about a coin that not only tells an important story of American history, but also happens to be one of the more intriguing and collectible coins from the U.S. state and America, the beautiful quarter series. Get ready, because we're diving deep into the United States of America Saratoga quarter from the year 2015. Now, at first glance, this coin might not look all that different from the other quarters you see every day. It has George Washington on the obverse, the standard face of our quarters, with the inscriptions we are all familiar with: United States of America, Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and quarter dollar. But flip it over, and that's where things get really interesting. The reverse of the Saratoga quarter captures one of the most decisive moments in the history of the United States: the surrender of the British Army to American forces during the Revolutionary War at the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. The design shows a close-up of a sword being surrendered, the hilt of the sword in the hand of a British officer, while the American hand reaches out to accept it. Alongside this imagery are the words "British Surrender 1777" and, of course, Saratoga. It's simple, powerful, and symbolic of one of the first major victories that secured foreign support for the colonies and ultimately helped pave the way for American independence. This design is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010 and ran through 2021, featuring 56 different designs showcasing national parks and historic sites across the country. The Saratoga Quarter, released in late 2015, represented the state of New York and stands out because it doesn't just celebrate a landmark. It immortalizes a turning point in history, making it especially meaningful for collectors who value coins that connect to America's story of freedom. But what makes this coin even more fascinating is not just its design or its place in history, but its rarity. The errors discovered in some of its mintages, and the incredible prices it can reach under the right circumstances. Let's talk about minting. The Saratoga quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and also produced in special proof and silver proof versions at the San Francisco Mint. Like all modern coins, the intention was mass production, with millions of examples entering circulation. That would normally mean it's common, right? But the world of coin collecting is never that simple. Within those millions, a small number of coins show remarkable differences, errors, varieties, or exceptionally high-quality strikes that set them apart from the rest. Some of the most sought-after Saratoga quarters are those with minting errors. These include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned in the press. There are also die cracks, where thin raised lines appear on the coin due to stress on the die used to strike it. Another highly collectible error is the doubled die, where elements of the design, such as the lettering or details on the sword, appear doubled. To a casual observer, these may look like imperfections, but to collectors, they are exciting discoveries that can raise the value of a coin exponentially. Even coins without visible errors can command high value if they are in superb condition. Collectors grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers representing coins that have sharper details, no wear, and a brilliant appearance. A Saratoga quarter in average circulated condition might only be worth its face value of 25 cents. But when you move into the territory of mint state coins graded MS-67 or MS-68, the story changes dramatically. These coins, preserved with extraordinary care, often never touching circulation, can fetch staggering prices at auction. Why does condition matter so much? It's simple. The higher the grade, the scarcer the coin. Out of millions minted, only a tiny fraction survive in pristine, flawless condition. Collectors who specialize in registry sets, where they try to assemble the finest examples of each coin, will compete fiercely for those high-grade pieces. That competition drives the value sky high. And let's not forget about the emotional and historical appeal of the Saratoga design itself. Unlike some of the quarters that depict parks or landscapes, the Saratoga quarter carries the weight of a pivotal moment in history, the surrender that turned the tide of the Revolutionary War. For history buffs, patriotic collectors, and anyone fascinated with America's struggle for independence, this coin isn't just a piece of change. It's a tiny monument to freedom, a reminder of the sacrifices and victories that built the nation. That adds another layer of desirability to the coin, making demand even stronger for rare, flawless, or error examples. Imagine stumbling upon one of these in your change today. You might look at it and think it's just a regular quarter. But under the right conditions, with the right minting anomaly, or in the perfect grade, that little piece of metal could turn out to be worth more than you ever imagined. Stories like these are what keep collectors constantly checking their pocket change, hunting through rolls of coins, and attending auctions in search of that one extraordinary find. So, how much could a Saratoga quarter actually be worth? While most of them will remain at face value, a small handful of rare examples, especially those with dramatic errors or in superb mint state condition, have stunned the collecting world with their value. One such coin, in exceptional condition and verified by grading experts, reached a price as high as $79,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $79,000 for a single quarter that most people wouldn't give a second glance to. So, coin lovers, the next time you spot a 2015 Saratoga quarter, take a moment to study it closely. Look for errors, check the condition, and remember the history it represents. Because you just might be holding something far more valuable than pocket change. We're setting our focus on one of the most visually striking and historically rich coins in the entire state quarter series. It's the United States of America state quarter dollar from Nebraska, minted in the year 2006. At first glance, the Nebraska quarter is a true standout. On the obverse, like all state quarters, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president, along with inscriptions we all recognize: United States of America, Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and quarter dollar. But the reverse design is what really captures people's attention. And it's a scene that speaks directly to the heritage of Nebraska and the spirit of westward expansion in America. The reverse of the Nebraska 2006 quarter features Chimney Rock, one of the most famous landmarks of the American frontier. Rising dramatically out of the plains, Chimney Rock was a symbol for pioneers traveling the Oregon Trail, the California Trail, and the Mormon Trail. It was a sign that their journey across the wilderness was progressing, a natural marker that lifted spirits and gave hope. Alongside Chimney Rock, we see an ox-drawn covered wagon making its way across the plains, just as thousands of families did during the mid-1800s. The rays of the sun beamed down on the scene, capturing a sense of adventure, perseverance, and the enduring strength of those who dared to head west. This coin, then, isn't just a piece of money. It's a miniature history lesson, a tribute to the resilience of the pioneers, and a snapshot of a turning point in the story of America. It's no wonder that the Nebraska quarter has become a favorite among both casual collectors and serious numismatists. Now let's get into why this coin, released in 2006, is not only admired but also can be worth far more than 25 cents. Like all coins in the state quarter program, millions of Nebraska quarters were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. There were also proof versions and silver-proof versions minted at San Francisco. With such large mintages, most Nebraska quarters are common and can be found in circulation without much difficulty. But as every collector knows, within those millions, rare treasures exist. Coins with unusual errors, stunning conditions, and unique features that set them apart and make them highly valuable. One category of rare Nebraska quarters are those with mint errors. Errors are mistakes that happen during the minting process, and they are like hidden gems in the coin collecting world. Some Nebraska quarters have been found with off-center strikes, where part of the design is cut off because the blank planchet wasn't properly aligned in the press. Others have been discovered with doubled dies, where details of the design, such as the lettering or even the rays of the sun, appear doubled. These errors are incredibly appealing to collectors because they are one of a kind, no two exactly alike. Another type of error that can make the Nebraska quarter valuable is a die clash. This happens when the coin dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving faint impressions of one side of the coin on the other. It creates ghost-like images on the surface of the coin, which collectors find fascinating. A Nebraska quarter with a clear and dramatic die clash can command an impressive premium, but it's not just errors that make this coin valuable. Condition plays a massive role. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless coin. Most Nebraska quarters that you'll find in your pocket change will show scratches, nicks, or general wear. But a coin that has never circulated, one that has been carefully preserved and kept in pristine condition, can achieve a very high grade like MS-67 or MS-68. At those levels, the Nebraska quarter is no longer common. It becomes a rare prize that collectors compete fiercely to own. And when collectors compete, the prices rise dramatically. Proof and silver-proof Nebraska quarters also attract interest, especially if they have cameo or deep cameo contrasts, where the frosted design elements stand out sharply against the mirrored background. These coins were made for collectors and never intended for circulation, but finding one in perfect condition still adds to its desirability. Another factor that fuels the Nebraska quarter's popularity is its storytelling power. Unlike some designs in the series that focus on abstract symbols, the Nebraska coin captures a real place, a real journey, and a real moment in America's expansion westward. For collectors, history buffs, or anyone fascinated by the pioneer spirit, the Nebraska quarter feels more than just currency. It feels like a connection to the past. That emotional weight adds to its market appeal. Now imagine this. You're sorting through your pocket change or maybe looking through a roll of quarters from the bank, and suddenly, you see the Nebraska design. At first, it looks like just another quarter. But under closer inspection, maybe it has an error, or maybe it's in near-perfect condition. What seems like an ordinary coin could actually turn out to be a hidden treasure. That's why collectors are always on the hunt, always searching for that one coin that transforms into a life-changing discovery. Over the years, certain Nebraska quarters have indeed reached astonishing prices at auctions, shocking even seasoned coin experts. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. And in one of the most remarkable cases, a Nebraska state quarter dollar from 2006, in flawless condition and carrying extraordinary qualities, reached a value of $77,000. Yes, you heard that right. $77,000 for a single quartered. Oh, the next time you come across a Nebraska quarter, take a closer look. Check for errors, examine the condition, and remember the story it tells. Because while most of them are worth just 25 cents, a select few have become treasures that any collector would dream of owning. Top 5, we're diving into one of the more modern, yet highly collectible coins in the 50 State Quarters series, the Nevada State Quarter from 2006. At first glance, it may seem like just another piece of 5-cent change, but stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll learn why this coin has become a prized gem in the world of numismatics, and why one remarkable specimen has reached an astounding value of $75,000. The Nevada State Quarter was issued as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program. which ran from 1999 to 2008. This program was created to celebrate the unique history, culture, and symbols of each state, while also encouraging coin collecting among the general public. Nevada, often called the Silver State, is famous for its mining heritage, iconic deserts, and vibrant cities like Las Vegas and Reno. The 2006 Nevada quarter perfectly captures this spirit, making it not just a piece of currency, but a miniature tribute to the state's identity. Let's start with the design. On the obverse, as with all state quarters, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, along with the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the year of issue. The reverse, however, is where Nevada truly stands out. The coin features a striking image of wild Mustangs galloping freely across the rugged Nevada landscape, with snow-capped mountains in the background and the state motto, All for Our Country, inscribed at the bottom. The detail in the Mustang's manes, the desert terrain, and the mountains is exceptional, and collectors appreciate the artistry and symbolism embedded in this design. At first, you might think, it's just a state quarter. Millions were minted, so it must be common. And you'd be partly right. The Nevada 2006 quarter was produced in large numbers at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, what makes certain specimens stand out are rarity factors, exceptional preservation, and mint errors. Let's talk about condition first. Most of these quarters entered circulation and were used in everyday transactions. They became worn, lost their original luster, and were subject to scratches, dings, and discoloration. For collectors, condition is everything. A coin that is uncirculated, showing no wear, with sharp details and full luster, is exponentially more valuable than one that has spent decades in pockets and cash registers. That's why a mint state Nevada quarter from 2006 is already considered a desirable coin for collectors. But condition isn't the only factor. The true excitement comes from errors and unique varieties. Some 2006 Nevada quarters have subtle, yet highly valuable minting errors. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety, where elements of the design are struck twice at slightly different angles. This can create a noticeable doubling in inscriptions, such as Liberty or In God We Trust, or even in parts of the Mustangs or mountains on the reverse. Coins with clear doubling are extremely rare and command a premium among collectors. Another error that collectors look for is the off-center strike, which occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned during the striking process. This results in part of the design being cut off or shifted. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Additionally, there are clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a miscut blank. These create a visually distinct and collectible coin that stands out from ordinary quarters. Struck-through errors also occur when foreign material interferes with the striking process, leaving unusual marks or voids on the coin. Every one of these errors makes the coin unique and highly desirable for collectors. Full luster and sharp detail, combined with any of these rare errors, create a Nevada quarter that is not just a piece of currency, but a collectible masterpiece. It is important to remember that, although millions of these quarters were minted, only a tiny fraction survive in pristine condition or with unique errors. That scarcity drives the high demand and elevated prices among numismatists. The Nevada quarter also appeals to collectors because of its artistic and symbolic value. The Mustangs represent freedom, strength, and the spirit of the American West. The mountains reflect Nevada's rugged natural beauty, and the state motto, All for Our Country, embodies the pride and identity of the people. For anyone passionate about American history, wildlife, or state symbolism, this coin is more than just 5 cents. It is a miniature piece of art and heritage. Now, let's discuss the financial aspect, which is always the most thrilling part. While most 2006 Nevada quarters in circulated condition are worth only face value, the rare mint state examples, particularly those with unique errors, can reach extraordinary prices. Collectors often pay a significant premium for coins that are flawless, uncirculated, and feature full details or minting anomalies. Auctions and private sales have shown that the value of these rare specimens can be shocking, especially when they are verified and graded by professional coin grading services. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value reveal. Among all the 2006 Nevada state quarters, one particular coin, preserved in near-perfect condition and exhibiting rare features highly prized by collectors, has reached an astonishing price of $75,000. Yes, you heard that right. $75,000 for a single 2006 Nevada state quarter. This is the incredible magic of coin collecting. A coin that many might overlook as ordinary pocket change can turn out to be an invaluable treasure. It's a reminder that hidden wealth can be found in the most unexpected places, and that knowledge, patience, and attention to detail are the keys to discovering it.so. The next time you handle a Nevada quarter, or any coin for that matter, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look at the design, check the condition, and see if there are any unique or unusual features. You might just be holding a miniature piece of history, and maybe even a fortune. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of the 2006 Nevada State Quarter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future treasure hunts in the world of coins. Keep searching, keep collecting, and may your next coin be the one that surprises you with unimaginable value.